100% a supporter of veterans, whether they're combat veterans, career veterans, whatever. My daddy is a 20-year career veteran of the Air Force. He was called to go to Desert Storm, I believe, 4 different times, and then sent home at the airport. My daddy designed and helped build tent cities during the Desert Storm issues.
Awesome.
But he never actually had to go. They kept sending him home. Like I was young, so I don't really understand that. But combat veteran or career veteran, always I will support any soldier that served.
Right.
But the military itself, like when we say military, we don't, in a negative light, we don't mean the men and women that have done what they had to do.
Right.
The people in some of the head offices, all the way from the government down,
yep.
They do certain things and they have to meet certain things. And Jamie, yes, they do still actually have to meet a quota.
Yep.
And and there's only one way to say this, because the recruiters' asses are owned by the United States military, just like any other soldier. They have to do what they're told to do.
Mm-hmm.
That is fact. There's no way around that,
yep.
Sadly. But there should be certain things that they're not told to do in a certain way. There's a way to go around saying, yes, college will be free, as it should be. I personally believe that, everything when a combat veteran comes home, housing, utilities, stuff that is a necessity to live, in my opinion, medical, should be absolutely 100% free for our veterans. Anything that's a luxury is on them. That's
right.
How I feel about it. We wouldn't have the epidemic of homeless veterans or veterans looking for jobs and can't support their families because of whatever.
Wouldn't.
But there's got to be a way to explain to these young men and women, even though they should really be aware because of the way the world is, there still should be an honesty level that I always remember in the military growing up years
mm-hmm.
ago among soldiers is, look, yes, this is going to be free. Yes, you're going to get help with this. Yes, your family's going to get help with this. But I got to tell you, there's a war going on. They
mm-hmm.
might not say there's a war going on, but chances are you could be sent over here and you could come back fucked up. You need to know that. Now, if you're willing to serve your country knowing this, here's the paper.
Right.
If all you're here for is school, you need to understand that that's not all you're going to get.
Right.
But by all means, here's the paperwork. There should be that level of honesty among our military. Sadly, right now, I just did an article on Veteran AF that the Army is now opening recruitment to people with a history or a background of self-mutilation, depression, bipolar disorder,
Ooh.
and alcohol and drug addiction. Because our country has gotten into a place where sound men and women of a young age that would usually sign up to be military have been brainwashed into being moronic liberals. And that's a sad fact.
Yes, it is.
So our military is sacrificing what they can sacrifice to pull in the numbers they need. That sucks. It does suck, but it leaves you in a ground where what do you do? What do you do? Do you start drafting people? Or do you pull people that might be able to be medicated, but then you're sacrificing people with an issue already to go to a place where they're going to come home with a bigger issue than the PTSD vets we already get home.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yes, it is.
So how do you solve that problem?
Well, that's a hard one to say because the government's going to do what the government wants to do or not. On our side, it's easy for us to say, okay, well, if you're already suffering from depression or you're bipolar or whatnot, and you're taking medications, then honestly, no. I don't want to bring you in and cause your depression and cause your anxiety or whatnot to be triplified or times 10. I don't that's for the safety of them and the safety for the country. Me personally, I'd say no, but the government's going to do what they need to do. Unfortunately, one thing I can say, and I hope other people see this is. This generation right here, ever since this Desert Storm Iraqi war started, we're the generation that volunteered. Most of us.
Right.
For the right reasons.
Right.
We wasn't
and
directed,
honestly,
we wasn't told to go.
Right, and I've heard that so many times from such amazing people that, and their story always starts the same. I joined after 9/11. I joined because my country was attacked, and I needed to defend it. And I hear that a lot from the large majority of our combat veterans right now that are suffering from one thing or another. That's what their story starts with, is I joined after 9/11. And that, to me, speaks volumes of true compassion and patriotism above and beyond what some of us feel we personally have as patriots. I couldn't join. I wasn't allowed to join. I've been sick since I was born, so I just couldn't join due to health reasons. But, I have to stand here at home and serve in the best way I can serve for those who serve for me. And if more people would do that, we would have less of a problem in this country with our combat veterans coming home to what they're coming home to. And that it sucks that there's not more people doing that. Back to what we talked about in the first half of this show. I know these women that even I'll crack jokes about right now because, damn, they're acting stupid. I know they joined this movement with the purest of intentions.
Right.
But they're so wrapped up in the bullshit that other people start simply to distract people that they're failing themselves to realize that they could be one more, two more, three more, four more people that could have that hand outstretched to let our combat veterans know that when they come home, we're standing here. We're not going to leave you on the sidelines. We're not going to throw shit at you. We're not going to call you baby killers like the Vietnam vets suffered. We're not going to do that. We're standing right fucking here, serving in the only way we can for those who served for us.
Right.
But instead, so many people are wrapped up in the fame-mongering or the follower cultism bullshit, or I want to be famous and I want to be able to pay my bills off of my patriotism, or whatever they are,
right,
that they're losing the focus. And it's sad. It really is sad, because this country could be 70% better than what it is if our combat veterans were treated a little differently, because they make a big difference in everything that happens in this country, whether people realize that or not.
Amen. And there needs to be a lot more people like you. I mean, and I personally say thank you for what you do, and the other freedom fighters do, busting your asses every day to help us. That means a lot. And for people like myself who do see that, I do say that I do feel a little bit more comfortable at home. Now, when I first came home, I didn't. But knowing that there are people out there like yourself and a lot of other freedom fighters and spouses of the military who are out there fighting every day, I do personally feel a lot more comfortable. It's a great thing, and I wish there was more people, like yourself out there, and that's keep preaching and keep preaching and keep preaching as much as we can keep preaching. It's
right.
Like you were saying earlier, there's not too many people that join in this movement that last too long. You've got to fight. It's a fucking job. It's stressful. There's people that attack people for no apparent fucking reason, but other to attack them because they don't like what they're doing, or they said something they didn't agree with, like you were talking about earlier. And that is sad.
Right.
And we'll go back to say it again. Do it privately. There's no point of doing this he says, she said bullshit. Quit being a part of the problem and be a part of the solution. If there's something that you disagree with somebody, say, hey, I disagree with this, and see if there's something can be changed. If not, then, oh, well, it's all right. Pick up and drive on. There's a lot more things to fight about.
I mean, like I always say, I support exposers. If you have irrefutable proof that anybody, I don't care how big or how small they are using people or doing something bad, whether it's lying for money or stolen valor or whatever, then by all means expose them, and I fully support you. Whether I agree with who you're exposing or not, if you have that proof, who am I to refute it?
Right.
But if you're randomly attacking people for stupid reasons, simply because, oh, this person's got a large following, but she's got this person on her friends list, so, oh, my God, she must be involved with shady shit. No, listen. I don't know a lot of people on my list. And if you're attacking somebody that I do know personally, it's probably not a good idea because I've known them long enough to know that you're full of shit.
Right.
And that's how a lot of people are. But the people that are like me don't speak out as much as I do. So people don't know who they are.
Right.
And it's sad. You know, they're like, thank you for being a voice for us. And my thing is, okay, well, when are you going to be a voice for yourself?
Right.
I have no problem doing it. But at some point, you need to stand up and understand that I'm just one voice in millions. And if they're not hearing the millions over my one voice, I might not be able to make that difference. So stand with me. Don't stand behind me. Yep. Don't try to stand in front of me. Stand next to me and fight this fight with me. And if you can't do that, there's something called a block button because I don't have time for that shit.
That's right.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, it's just social media. It is just social media. But for people like me, that's the only way to get our voices out there, that's the only way for us to do what we do or whatever, it's a job. Whether you're paid for it or not, it's a job.
And it's a big
And it's
impact.
one that we take seriously.
And it's a big impact nowadays. You know, this is the day that we live in, and, you know, it is social media. This is how a lot of things get heard, get taught about, get seen, plain and simple.
Right.
You know, and just one example, you know, me and my dog picked my daughter up a couple days ago. I got out of school early. She wanted to hang out with her dad. You know, she's doing good, A's and B's. Hadn't really missed any days of school. So, yeah, I went and picked her ass up. We went to the Sprint store and got some headphones and shit. And I got my upgrade and stood there for 3 hours. And two Marines were geeking out because I was standing in front of them. You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, you can see people all over the country see this shit. So, yes, It is a good tool to use. And people who are out there, you know, all people that live in social media, no, it's not. You can tell who lives in it and who uses it as a tool. You know.
Exactly.
And, you know, it's a tool to some of us. I guarantee you, I don't sit here in front of these two computers 24/7 nonstop. You know, I'm out on the streets beating feet, or beating foot, should I say. But, you know, out here doing what we can.
Right.
There, you know, Veterans Day, you know, it's not just happening on Veterans Day, but I will say this, for Spartanburg County down here in South Carolina, I'm fucking proud of every single last one of them because they have now enforced that they will be saying the Pledge of Allegiance every morning from here on out. It's back in Spartanburg County. We went to... I was invited to a Veterans Day little thing at one of the elementary schools. And I was sitting there talking to the principal. I was like, you know, thank you for doing the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. I was like, I was really proud to see everybody standing up. Nobody had their hats on. Everybody had their hand over their head. She goes, yeah, it was just released in Spartanburg County that the Pledge of Allegiance will be brought back every morning in every school throughout Spartanburg County. I was like, thank God. It's coming back around. That. Slowly but surely it's coming back. And I was like, you know what? I was like, all right, well, let's go see what Greenville County's got now. You know, that positive tidal wave or ripple effect is coming back around. Slowly but surely.
Right.
And it's right here in the South. You know, hopefully there's other schools around doing it.
Right, and that's another thing that's actually a problem because we have a lot of, you know, the mainstream media is very leftist, and they show us the negative stuff, and this is bad, and that's bad, and this is bad, and we are pushed constantly with negative videos, and this cop did this, and this person did this, and it's just this constant barrage of negative. And what we try to do, specifically me, with the news site and with my own page, is show some of the winning. And everybody says, are you sick of winning yet? You know, and it's kind of said as a joke, but truly, there is so much change being made and so much good actually happening in this country, whether it be by, you know, Trump or whatever, or just patriots.
Yep.
Because we're so barraged with the negative, we're not seeing the positive. And when that happens, it's done on purpose. It's to cause a lowering of morale. It's to cause the silent majority to be depressed